Hello and welcome to day 3. We're gonna do these tasks today in this video, and it's number 1 is how to create 390 users, and I'll just add now from Powershell, and then I'm just going to install DHCP, and then we're going to test the DHCP as well, and by putting another client and seeing what address the client gets. Then we go for adding a Replica DC or additional domain controller with AD integrated DNS and global catalog server, and we will have an option there. Then we're going to uninstall all these to check more options there. So are we ready? Oh yes, we are. So the first step is we already have a domain controller, and we have 2 servers ready, and on day 2 we created these in my previous video. Now for day 3, let's create 300 users, 390 actually. Let's just go to tools and go to Active Directory user and computers just to check how many users are there in my domain.local. We got built-in container, computers, domain controller, and there's the users, and I don't see 390 users here. And by the way, yeah, we created we disabled the administrator account, and we created a copy of administrator account by the name of agent 007. Yeah, this is the king of the jungle, having all the rights of administrator. It's a lab, so we got creative and created this as an administrator. Okay, let's go ahead, and I'll just copy from outside since I have VMware tools installed. So I will be able to copy from my laptop to the C drive of server 1, the domain controller. And then through PowerShell we're going to create those 390 users. So I'm just going to go to the folder and how to create 300 users with PowerShell. Go inside again, and there's that folder that I need. Right click. I'll make this available in under the YouTube video links, and you can just download from there as well. This script, this is not my script, this is available all over the internet. So just YouTube it up, Google it. Okay, so I'm being frank on this video. Let's go ahead and so I've copied it there. I'll just make it full screen and go to the yellow folder, go to the C drive, on the root, paste, and there you go, the create dash users folder is here. Now how to create 390 users from PowerShell? Let's go to PowerShell. Here's the icon for PowerShell. Right click and right click again and run as administrator. Yes, we have to have administrative rights. Press yes, I have those. One more thing that proved to be useful previously in some places, I should be adding a magnifying glass so you could see well the magnifying glass effect. It's not effect, it's an actual magnifying glass. So I'll just go to the laptop and go to the programs, go to accessories, ease of access, magnifier. So that's a very good, useful tool. Thanks to one of my friends. Thanks to a friend who suggested that, and I tried. Let me know if you like it. But what I'm about to type here will be magnified up there, so isn't that good? Okay, let me know in the comments, right? So 390 users creation, I need to go to that folder which is in the C drive of my domain controller. So cd / I will go to the root of this drive, and then in order to see the contents of the drive, I will put dir, all the DOS commands. And there you go, create users. Folder is there. Yep, that's what I needed. So cd and cr. Cd is for change directory space, and then CRE, the first three letters, and then press tab to autocomplete that and press enter. And there you go, we're inside that folder. So to see the contents of that folder, dir, and I just have to drag it so we could see it now. These are the contents, and yes, .ps1 file, which is usually the PowerShell extension for all the PowerShell scripts. So I'm going to just start writing this and execute this script. So I have just written the first three letters of that script and press tab to autocomplete, and there you go, the whole script is there selected. And you know, in order to execute any .ps1, just for knowledge, you have to have type here dot and backslash, and this dot and backslash actually executes the script. So it's selected, I'm pressing enter, and it's gonna pop up and ask for, hey, where is that CSV file with all those 390 names? So I'm just gonna press enter, and there it's asking. Let me just scroll down a little, and I would just go to that folder which I copy pasted, and double click that folder, and there you go, labusers.csv is the file that has all the 390 names. Usually in a production environment, you always get in your office such list from your HR department. So lab users, double click that, and there you go. Whoa, that's a lot of users. Well, it would be even much more interesting if we make it 1,000 users or 10,000 users or more. Okay, the list is completed. The users have been created, or have they? So let's go and take a look. Minimize this and minimize other folders to go to the server manager here, and I'll just go to the tools. Actually, I have already opened Active Directory and computers, Active Directory users and computers. Anyway, let's just open it. Go to mydomain.local, and now there's a new container created called exchange users. So this script had already, you know, it was told to create a container called exchange users, and these are all the 390 users, and the list goes on and 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 on, way down. Okay, the users created. See, just a 5-minute task. So this is done. Let me go to the OneNote and type it. Done. Yay. Okay, let's put a bracket there as well. Okay, let's go to the second task, DHCP. So any questions about the PowerShell creation of the 390 users, you could just put it in the comments in the YouTube on the YouTube for this video. Let's go to the DHCP, and let's install a DHCP role on this domain controller, and then check from a member server. So I'm just going to minimize that OneNote and go back to my first server, which is the domain controller, server 1, and I'm going to go to the tools. Actually, I'm going to go to add roles and features, so not so fast. Okay, add roles and features, click that, and let's scroll down to have a better view of this. Well, it does say that before installing DHCP you should be logged in. Your administrator account should have a strong password. Well, we use the class password, right? Network settings such as static IP address, yes, our domain controller static IP address, and network settings are configured. Yep, they are. The most current security updates from Windows Update, yeah, we did that too. Okay, let's go ahead. Next, yes, it's a role-based, feature-based installation. Next, and it will be installed on server 1, first domain controller, yeah. Next, and there you go, DHCP. Okay, it always pops up for many of the roles when we select that, so yes, whatever is necessary to help run that role, that feature should be installed. So click add features, and next, since we already added the feature, so we don't need to add anything further. Next, and there you go. So you should configure at least one static IP address on this computer. It's already there. Okay, so yeah, we'll just configure and talk more about DHCP next. And if it needed a restart, go ahead and restart. If not, then it's not going to. So let's just click install. Simple, nothing out of the ordinary, right? So there you go. It's going to install that. So we're just adding the binary files, and then later we're gonna configure that. Okay, succeeded. So click close. No, we did not shut down unexpectedly, so cancel. I don't know why this pop-up came. Anyway, so there's that yellow notification which says that hey, aren't you going to configure your DHCP? Oh yes, we will. So complete DHCP configuration is going to ask two options. Let's go ahead, configure DHCP from that notification. So it's going to do two things here. It's going to create security groups for delegation of DHCP server administration, DHCP administrators and DHCP users. Second thing it's going to do is authorize the DHCP, right? Let's go ahead, and it should be domain joined. Of course it's a domain controller. Maybe you were if you were installing on a member server, make sure that it's a member server or joined to the domain and not a standalone server. Next, and yes, I'm logged in from agent 07, which is actually the copy of our domain administrator. So all the rights are there, and no, I don't want to use any alternate credentials, and I don't want to skip AD authorization, but it could be used if you may not want the DHCP to start working right after configuration. Maybe you want it to start working later, at some later time. Then you can use this option. But right now, we're just going to configure this, keep it to the defaults, and go ahead. Right? Commit. Make sure whenever you commit, this done and this done should be well done. So it should not give any error, right? Close. Now we have, if you see on the dashboard on the left side, we have DHCP showing here. Let's go up to the tools area and go for the DHCP console and configure DHCP. So going there and maximizing it, and I'll just drag this guy a little further. Okay, so make sure it's green. IPv4 is green, and we're just working on IPv4, so v6 we're not going to work. It says add a scope because we did not configure a scope, so we have to add it, and we're going to tell everything. We're going to configure DHCP in this scope, so that's why we create a scope, right? Right click IPv4 and go to new scope. Let's drag it up a little, and welcome screen, next, and there's our scope. So first scope, or you can just name it anything, first floor scope, or subnet scope, first subnet scope, or 192.168 subnet scope, and description, whatever you want to put there. Next, let's give it an IP range that it will distribute the IP addresses from. So 192.168.0.51 and up to 192.168.0.100. We can just give it according to our needs. /24 is the length, and subnet mask. Let's go ahead with next. exclusion range. Why we add exclusions? In order for the DHCP to keep or retain these IP addresses for later use, or maybe in emergency you want to use it. Maybe you know, for some reason the IPs you ran out of IPs, and at that crucial moment when new devices are asking for IP, you just release this exclusion range as well and add it to the actual range. So we're just keeping some of these IPs in the exclusion range. It's up to you want to add it or not. Although, and you must notice that I did not start from 0.1 or 0.3 or 0.5. I started from 51. So first 50 IP addresses already I am keeping away for static use. For critical servers, I can give static IP addresses like domain controllers, or all servers I will give static IP addresses, as well as network devices and printers. So that's why I'm leaving up to 50. That's just an idea I'm giving there. I don't have anything in the lab, but administrators should think about and fix the ranges for different usages, right? So that's what I'm doing. Here, just deciding from 51 next. So let's add an exclusion range here. Let's go for 192. You can just put any range, right, within the dot. 52, 192, 168, 0.62. Well, it could be any range, right, according to your situation or planning. Click add here, and then let's go ahead next. There's a lease duration here, and it's always good to have lesser time for lease. So this is the time that DHCP, for example, it's 8 days. So whichever machine grabs the IP from DHCP will have it for 8 days, and when the 75% of the time is passed, the DHCP goes and checks the checks the PC if it is there or not, and if it's there, it just renews the lease on the completion of the lease, and if it's not there, it just takes the IP address back and give it to some other. So if the lease time is huge, like 9999, that's not gonna be a good idea, because then that IP is just restricted to that machine, and maybe that machine is formatted after 10 days for some reason, or moved to some other branch, and but the IP will stick to that machine for this much time. So it's not a good idea to give huge range here. But according to maybe you have two networks, one is for permanent employees and one is for guests. So guests can have very less amount of time, maybe in hours even, and permanent employees can have 30 days or even 100 days, because their PCs will be permanently there. But still, normal, we see in jobs that they give in production environment, they give 30-40 days of lease time according to the volume of the network, how big it is, how many devices you have in the network. Okay, we'll stick to the defaults next. Yes, we want to configure these options. We want to tell our clients what is our gateway, DNS, and domain name. So we're gonna just keep it yes, and next. We're just gonna give any imaginary gateway for our lab, although we don't have any defined yet. So I'll just give it 254. Okay, click add. Next. Now it already has detected what is the domain name, and it's going to tell it to the clients, and also their DNS name, DNS servers. It has already detected that too, and it's going to tell the clients what is our DNS and what is our domain name. So that's crucial information that the clients should know in a Windows network, right? Next. WINS, we're not configuring WINS, it's Windows Internet Naming Services, and It resolves NetBIOS names to IP addresses. Microsoft is discouraging system admins to use this and encouraging to use DNS. So we're gonna stick to DNS because it offers name resolution for non-Microsoft platform as well. Wins does not do that. It's strict. It's restricted to only doing name resolution for Windows machines. Okay, let's go and let's keep it empty. And next, yes, I want to activate this scope, and next, and finish. So our scope is created, and we have a range in address pool 51, and let me check. So it's active. I F5'd it now. I just press F5 and it showed this green arrow, and it should show like this. Now let's check our client, or that server. In my case, it's a server 2, which is on static IP for now and joined to the domain. So I'm just gonna remove static IP from there and see if it catches the IP from this range, and if it does, the address lease will appear here, right, with the name of the computer as well and IP address of that computer. So let's go to second server 2, and let's log in agent 007, which is our administrator, and let's go down, scroll down, and well, we should get used to using server manager. Let's go to local server and go to the Ethernet, multiple IP addresses, Ethernet 0, double click that, scroll down a little, and properties, then go to IPv4, double click, remove. Obtain an IP address automatically will remove the static IP, so I'm removing that. Obtain DNS, yep, as well. So it's going to totally depend on DHCP now, so press OK and OK, and it should have taken the IP address from DHCP by now. So let's just click details and see. Ooh, in my case it did not. So what is this IP? 169.254. Always remember, this is APIPA or APIPA, automatic private IP addressing. Whenever you see an IP starting from 169.254, it's APIPA, or it's looking for a DHCP. It could not find it, and it's programmed, Windows machine is programmed to get this IP if there is no static IP configured on this machine, and it could not find a DHCP. So we see the IP that we so we got the IP from our DHCP. That's good, and that's the range we gave, 0.51, and the DHCP server is stated here. Okay, yeah, DHCP role is installed on 0.1. So that's good that we got the IP. Let's go back and check some more stuff that the DHCP has on server 1. So I'll go back to server manager and go to tools and go to DHCP, expand it, and let's check it out. As we can see, first scope, address pool, and we should be seeing address lease here, remember? Oh yeah, there it is. So server 2 and the FQDN for that server, fully qualified domain name, and so whichever clients get an IP from this DHCP will be listed in the address lease folder and can be shown there. The reservations, the next folder. So when we right click that and click new reservation, all we need to do is we need to put the transaction name like directors PC, and then the IP of that PC, and then the MAC address. You know the MAC address, how do you get that? If you can go to the network, so I'll just go to the server manager, and if I go to the Ethernet here and double click that and details, then physical address, this is the MAC address that you have to put for whichever PC you want the IP to be reserved within DHCP, right? So here's the MAC address for that. There's another command, get mac/s and space / computer name, that also gets you MAC address for a remote computer, right? It's on my forum anyway. Okay, so what else? I'll just go back to DHCP and check it out. So there are these options of DHCP and BootP. So BootP is all about if you have a PC on another subnet or another branch, and within that, between the branches, you have a router. So if the router is allowing all the traffic which is all about the PC on the branch asking for an IP address. So if the router allows that kind of traffic to flow from branch to the head office, that the PCs are asking for, hey, we don't have a DHCP locally available, so can you give me an IP address? And then that request can go through the router if BootP option is enabled on the router. If BootP option is not available on the router, then if in the branch there is no DHCP, or the DHCP just went down and the clients need an IP, so they'll be looking for an IP, and if BootP is not enabled on the router, their request to search for a DHCP and get an IP would stay in the branch. It would not go across the router, and they won't get an IP. So if BootP option is enabled for all the PCs, then the request will go through the router to the head office, and the DHCP there can also assign an IP to those which require in the branch office. So, well, if we just keep it both, it's okay whenever they need local DHCP or whenever they need a DHCP across the router, any branch. And scope options, the scope options here, as you can see, that we provided our router IP address, then the DNS IP address, and then the domain name. These are all the crucial information that every client needs to know about its network. So in scope options, we can define all the services, we can configure all the services, we can put the names and IPs of those services that we are offering for all the clients of this scope, right? So there are many types of services. You need to know it very good, that what kind of service you are trying to offer, and then click any type of service. If you know which device is offering that service or which server is offering that service, then you can click that and just put the IP address or name of that server or device, and that service will be offered to all the clients of this scope, right? So server options, so here we can configure all those options, same options we saw in the scope options. In the server options, we can configure all those options on the server level. Suppose if we have 10 or 20 scopes, different scopes with different IP ranges, but you want everyone to have the same time offset or router or time server or name server. These central services you're offering to all the clients of all the scopes mentioned here, then you can just come here in server options and offer all the services or that one or two service to all the scopes here. So server options just means that if you have lots of scopes created here and you want to offer one service for all the scopes here, then you can go to server options. Scope options would be what? If you're offering a service to the clients of just that particular one scope. Server option will be all the scopes created on this DHCP server, right? In the filters are, you can allow and deny IP addresses on different computers. Based on the MAC address, you can just mention that PC, add that MAC address, and then they will be allowed to receive the DHCP IP. And if the same thing for deny, that you can add the MAC address and the option will be denied, right? So this is the DHCP. We have gone through some of the options that we use day-to-day tasks, and we will be visiting DHCP again for the failover features. For now, let's just tick that off, so to say that we have done the basic DHCP lab. So I'm just typing here done. How to install Replica. Let's do that, and for that we need to have the server 02 IP should be changed back to static. Check the DNS if it has the dynamic IP mapped to the server 02, because now we're going to change it back to the previous IP, static IP, so we could install the Active Directory and Active Directory always requires static IP, right? So I'm just going to check first that DNS does not have the wrong information, and then I'll change the IP. In fact, let's just go A and B wise, so let's just change the IP and then come back and visit the DNS. That would be better. So I'm just gonna go to server 2, and well, first of all, I'm just gonna log in agent 007 through agent 007, double click that, properties, v4, use the following IP address, 192.168. Okay, let's not be speedy. And the IP was 2, press tab for 255, the 2.168. I think I put it to 254 as the gateway, although in our lab we don't need that. Prefer DNS, of course, wherever the DNS role is installed. In our case it is 192.168.0.1. Press OK, press OK, close. Okay, so what's going on? Now static IP has been given. I'll just go to command prompt and go for ipconfig /flush DNS and well, let's go for ipconfig /register DNS as well. So to register the correct IP, should be registering the correct IP, ipconfig, I should have taken that, it's 02 now, good. So I'll just go to the server now, and I'll go to tools and DNS and check if the new IP is there along with server 2. So forward lookup zone might mean .local, and server 2 has the 2 IP, not the 0.51 that it received previously from the dynamic DHCP, dynamic host configuration protocol. Okay, so it has the static IP. That's good. Just to check, you never know if it's has two names here, server 2 with the 02 and server 2 with 0.51, which are received from DHCP. Both entries are there, so whatever traffic is coming there would be confused, would be not connecting because of the wrong information. Okay, server 2. So I am on server 2, and let's add the Active Directory replica So additional domain controller or Replica DC, we're gonna install that. So these two things are checked. Excuse me. Check the DNS if it has the dynamic IP mapped to the server 2. We did both of these, and now install the ADDS, Active Directory Domain Services. So I'm just gonna go to Tools. No, we go to Dashboard and add roles and features. Next, role base, yes. On this server 2, yep. And second one, not the first one, it's certificate services. We're gonna do it later. Active Directory certificate services, nope. Active Directory domain services. Add features, yes, it always pops up and the necessary features will be installed. So let's just click add features. Next. Since features are already added, nothing to do here. Next. And let's just go ahead. If it wants to restart, yes, install. So Active Directory binaries aren't being installed. I'll just click, although my machine is fast now, but okay, it's going there. Okay, so installation is done. Let's click close, and there's that ADDS appearing here now, and there's that yellow sign appearing here. So let's click that, promote this server to a domain controller, server 2. Yes, we should do that, and we're gonna go for add a domain controller to an existing domain. Yes, that's what we want to do. Next. And then it's gonna ask for if we want to have an additional DNS, a global catalog server, and RODC. We will have the option now of having this as an RODC as well, but we're not gonna do that now. And global catalog server, we're gonna check it later on in sites and services. So I'm gonna just uncheck here. Otherwise, it would automatically get installed if we had kept it on the default options. DNS, yes, we want an additional DNS, and there is that directory services restore mode. Yes, we should always put a password here. Actually, it's not gonna let you go without that. If we had different sites, we could have just deployed it to another site, but this is it. Next. It's looking for a DNS. We haven't installed a DNS yet here, so we can safely ignore this option, right? Next. Install from media is that if we have two branches and we want to actually deploy a domain controller, additional domain controller, to a far off branch which has a bad WAN connection. So you would not want to replicate all of the Active Directory data over the WAN to that branch because of the bad WAN connection. Very slow link, unreliable one. So what you do, you send the domain controller there with Windows 2012 R2 installed, and then you copy all the data from NTDS commands. You copy all the data of Active Directory and sysvol folder to our DVD, write or burn that DVD with that data, and then you take the DVD and the domain controller there to that branch, far off branch, and then when you're deploying the Active Directory, you take all the data from the DVD instead of taking all the data through replication from the headquarters. In this way, you don't use the WAN connection, unreliable WAN connection, to get all the data replicated from the headquarters to that far off branch. And suppose it took 1 or 2 days to set it up, to reach there, the server to reach there and set it up in the far off branch. So maybe there were changes in those 2 days in Active Directory and headquarters. So once you have installed from media the domain controller Active Directory, whatever changes were made on the headquarters Active Directory will be replicated through WAN connection, because it's just 2 or 3 days changes. That's not gonna be huge data, so it then you can use WAN connection for that. But before that, whatever was created and changed would be copied on USB or DVD, and you can then later just update the new domain controller from that local media. So that's what install from media option is. Replication from any domain controller, in our lab we have just one, so yes. Otherwise, if there were a long list of domain controllers and there were so many branches, so whichever branch is the nearest, we could have mentioned the domain controller of that branch, right? Next, and there are those folders and TDS folder where and log database and logs of Active Directory are installed here. Syswall is, it does two things. It's a central repository for all the group policies, and it's a central repository for all the scripts to be deployed to all the clients in the domain, right? Okay, next. And there you go. View script is for PowerShell. It's all the options we selected have been copied here, and we can deploy the next Active Directory through PowerShell. So if you want to save, you can save it, and later you can use this script to deploy Active Directory unattended installation. Okay, next. And it's gonna show some errors, warnings, and we're gonna see what those errors are. So there are two Windows 2012 R2. This is the same thing in our previous Active Directory installation, where it's the overall meaning of this is that if you have Windows NT 4, your 2012 R2 domain controller won't be able to communicate with the Windows NT 4 domain controller. I'm sure nobody is having NT 4 domain controller nowadays. The domain controller that currently holds the infrastructure master role for this domain also is a global catalog server in a multi-domain environment. Hosting the infrastructure master role on global catalog server can cause problems unless all other domain controllers in the domain are also global catalog servers. So overall, what does that mean? The infrastructure master role, which is one of the 5 FSMO roles, FSMO roles, flexible single masters operations roles, it also gathers information about the infrastructure objects, and lots of responsibilities are there. Hence, it takes a lot of processing and memory of itself, while we are installing global catalog, which does the forest wide search and helps in login authentication for the devices and users. So these two roles, infrastructure master role and global catalog server role, if installed on the same domain controller, it might consume more processing and memory. So it's recommended that these two roles should be deployed on different domain controllers. But if there are few, and if all have global catalog on them, then it's okay to deploy this. So nowadays hardware is very good, and we have very good high-end servers, so and we have so many deployed domain controllers, additional domain controllers, so we can have this together. But if you have huge organization, then you should still think of separating these roles, right? And delegation for DNS, since we don't have a DNS on the server, well, after restart we will have, but right now no. So this error again came that, hey, where's our DNS server? So we don't have it. Okay, install, click install. Okay, so checking domain upgrade status. I think I'm gonna pause here, and when it restarts, then we're gonna resume, right? Okay, so it rebooted, and let's go inside through agent 007, and now if it is installed, or let's just check if Active Directory is installed or not. Well, the common signs are, oh, there are those Active Directory links, but if we go to the path where Active Directory database file is present, then we would know for sure. So I go to C drive, and then I go to Windows, and then I click anywhere and press N, NTDS. Whenever there's an NTDS folder in a member server or any server, it's a domain controller. NTDS, double click that. You don't have current version. Yeah, continue. Okay, ntds.dit is there. This means this is Active Directory is installed on this, and it's a domain controller or additional domain controller, if not the root domain controller. So let's enable that global catalog option, right? So I'm going to tools, and I'm going to sites and services. Remember, global catalog does what? Forest wide search, because it has partial information of all the objects in the forest. So there you go, sites and services opened. It took time, I don't know why. Now expand the sites, and default for site name, expand that, expand servers. There you go, there you have your two servers, domain controllers showing here. I expand those further, and I go to server 2 to enable the global catalog option. Server 2, NTDS settings, right click the NTDS settings and properties. Now you see that there's that global catalog checkbox, right? And remember that during installation of Active Directory, we could have just checked it there as well, and it would have installed, just enabled this option there, global catalog. But we now know that actually this option resides here, right? Apply, okay. Since we are here in NTDS settings, if I click the upper NTDS settings or lower, I would refresh the setting because the connectors between the domain controllers have not been created. Okay, this generated just here right now. If I right click here, there is an option of replicate now. So remember, two domain controllers talk to each other within one site every 45 seconds up to 1 minute, and so they replicate any change within 45 seconds, right? Between the two branches, the two domain controllers talk every 180 minutes, but we can change that default settings, right? Replicate now. So this is an option that if server 2 wants to import or pull information from server 1, maybe you as an administrator know that there are 100 users created on server 1, and somehow within 45 seconds or 1 minute it was not, that information was not available there on server 2. So let me pull that information now and replicate now, and this is from server. So when this is the connector for server 2, and if you right click that, it's asking replicate now, and then from server which one, and server 1 option is there. If there were more domain controllers, there would be an option of pulling that information from any of the domain controllers, right? So this is the where we can replicate manually, right? Okay, so now we have enabled the option for the global catalog, and we can tick mark that now we have additional DC, additional DNS, and additional GC as well, right? But we still need to uninstall that. So, well, actually I'm putting it done, not tick marking. Okay, how to uninstall Replica, DC, DNS, GC, right? So I'll just go to manage, to uninstall, remove roles and features. But okay, I just remember one more thing. If I go to tools, users and computers, remember that we created 390 users, well, within this video, and those 390 users should be showing here as well on server 2, right? There you are, exchange users container, and all those 390 users are showing here as well. Good. And the two domain controllers are showing in the domain controllers container, right? Nothing in the computers folder because we don't have a client right now, and those are the two servers which are now both domain controllers, and we're going to uninstall that Active Directory from server 2, and it's going to again be showing here on computers once the Active Directory is uninstalled. Close that and click manage. Now let's remove that role, all those roles from this second server, in order to know how to remove and what options come there. So remove roles and features, and the wizard starts. Next, yes, I want to remove roles from server 2. Next, and the role I want to remove is Active Directory Domain Services. And yes, the features that helped that role to function will be also removed, should be also removed. But when we go ahead, it's going to say, wait a minute, and that's where it says now, wait a minute, you need to first demote this domain controller and then come back and remove those binary files, right? So let's demote this domain controller. Okay, supply the credentials to perform this. Yes, we're logged in with the the copy of the domain administrator account, and whoa, my alarm. Okay, so force the removal of this domain controller. This will be automatically restarted after the So no, we're not forcing it. This is not the last resort. Force is when you have no other option for the proper removal of proper decommissioning of the domain controller, and you have some corruptions on the server, so you can do this, but we are going to properly remove that, right? Next, it's hosting some roles here, DNS and global catalog. Yes, we want to get rid of them. Roles hosted by the DC are required for AD functionality, Active Directory functionality. If you proceed, Active Directory services operations may be impacted. Yes, we already have one domain controller root DC, so we're okay. Proceed with removal anyway. It's not going to let you go without that. So next, and the password for the administrator that will be available for us to log in from after this is the local administrator of this server. After Active Directory is installed and restarted, this is the password for that local administrator, but we're going to log in from domain administrator, which in our case is agent 007. Next, view script if we want to have a PowerShell script for all these options we selected, but right now let's just click demote, and it's demoting. Hope no error comes. I'll simply pause it, as it will take time and it's gonna restart after that. So when it restarts, I'll do that, right? Okay, so it restarted and Active Directory is gone. Let's just Control-Alt-Delete from our domain admin account and log in. You would still find in Server Manager the ADDS binary files, which will be like this, and you would still find the Active Directory icons there, but hey, Active Directory is removed. How do we know that for sure? I'll just go to the Windows Explorer and to the C drive and to Windows folder, and I'll click anywhere and press N. I'm pressing N again and again, and it's not coming up with that NTDS folder, which means Active Directory is in effect uninstalled. Then I'll go to server 1 and go to tools after I log into that. So on server 1, tools, Active Directory, users and computers. Let's see which container has which server now. And domain controller should have one. Yep, it has just one, and the computer's controller should have that other one now, which does not have Active Directory anymore. And so we have removed that domain controller as well. And let's just have that done as well, written as done as well. Okay, so all these tasks are done. We create 390 users, then we had DHCP installed and tested, then we installed Replica, DC, DNSGC, and we went through those options, and now then we uninstalled that. Okay, on next videos some more topics to be discussed and lots of labs.